Dobro večer, dobrodošli. Nastavljamo sa našom serijom predavanja Zakon života. Večeras imamo temu vrlo zanimljivog naslova Razumeti zašto radimo ono što radimo. Ja želim da vas podsjetim da se na izlazu kod redara prijavite kako biste stekli pravo da dobijete besplatno ovu knjigu. Ukoliko ste 4 ili više večeri prisutni, knjigu našeg predavača možete dobiti besplatno. Također možete po završetku predavanja preuzeti besplatno časopis Život i zdravlje. Možete postaviti pitanje, na pitanje odgovaramo po završetku svakog predavanja. Također možete se upisati ako želite da dobijete obavještenje o ovakvim događajima. Mi pozdravljamo Alberta Vrgoča, našeg prevodioca, i Marka Sandovala, doktora koji je naš gost. Možemo ih pozdraviti jednom aplauzom.
Amen.
Dobro večer.
It's good to see you again.
Dobro vas je vidjeti večeras ponovo.
It's good to be here with you as well.
I drago mi biti sa vama.
And to dive in deeper,
Da krenemo malo dublje.
We have been spending some time developing some principles.
I probali smo jedno vreme da razvijemo neke principe.
And tonight we are going to dive in head first.
I prvo ćemo da skočimo glavom dole.
And before we do,
I pre nego što to učinimo,
okay,
ja ću se pomoliti.
Dear Heavenly Father,
Dragi Oče nebeski,
we thank you for being here.
Zahvalni smo ti što ćeš biti ovdje.
And we ask for you to teach us
I želimo da nas ti poučiš
things that are hard for us to understand.
stvari koje su teške za nas da razumemo.
And thank you for doing so.
Hvala što ćeš to učiniti.
Amen.
Amen.
So last time,
Prošli put
we established the fact that we all need love,
mi smo zasnovali jedan princip da svima nama je potrebna ljubav,
that we need a love that is personal,
ljubav koja je lična,
that's pure,
koja je čista
that is unlimited.
i koja je neograničena.
And we also established the fact that we as human beings cannot produce that love.
I shvatili smo da mi kao ljudska bića ne možemo da proizvedemo tu ljubav.
Therefore, the source of love is not of human origin.
Tako da izvor ljubavi nije iz ljudske prirode.
So, what is the source of love?
I šta je izvor ljubavi?
The very love that we need in order to survive and be fulfilled.
Ljubav koja nam je potrebna da budemo ispunjeni i da bi preživeli.
Well, that love is God.
Ta ljubav je Bog.
Right? God is the love we need.
Bog je ta ljubav koja nam je potrebna.
He is personal,
Njegova ljubav je lična,
pure,
čista,
eternal,
večna.
and the love you need
I ljubav koja nam je potrebna
is the love He has.
je ljubav koju on ima.
Now, let's imagine that you have been fasting.
Ajmo da kažemo da ste postili na tašte.
Maybe you have had no food for the last 3 or 4 days.
Niste imali hrane 3-4 dana.
And it's time for you to break your fast.
I vreme je da završite sa postom.
And you go to a restaurant.
I odete u restoran.
And this is a healthy restaurant.
I ovo je neki restoran zdrave hrane.
This restaurant has all sorts of healthy dishes.
I taj restoran ima razne vrste zdravih namirnica.
So you grab your plate and your bowl.
I uzmete vašu času i tanjir.
And you go through the restaurant.
I prođete kroz restoran.
Looking at all of the different food options.
I gledate na razne opcije namirnica.
And you're smelling the different smells.
I možete da namirišete različite mirise.
And you're deciding, what am I going to eat?
I odlučujete šta ću da pojedem.
And in that deciding process,
u tom procesu odluke,
you leave your bowl and your plate there.
I ostavljate tanjir i času.
And you go outside.
I izađete.
You're still hungry.
I dalje ste gladni.
Whose responsibility is it that you're still hungry?
Čija je odgovornost da ste i dalje gladni?
It's your own.
To je vaša.
The restaurant's responsibility
odgovornost restorana je
is to make sure the food is available.
Da učini da je hrana prisutna.
But it's your responsibility to take your food and eat it.
Ali je baš odgovornost da uzmete tu hranu i da je jedete.
Well, God has a restaurant too.
I Bog ima svoj restoran.
And that restaurant is called love.
Taj restoran se zove ljubav.
And that restaurant of love has various different dishes.
I taj restoran ljubavi ima razne vrste specijaliteta.
It has things like grace.
Ima nešto kao što je blagodat.
Now, grace is to receive favor without deserving it.
A blagodat je da dobijete nešto, a da to ne zaslužujete.
There are dishes of security.
Imamo jedan tanjir koji je sigurnost se zove.
Of belonging.
Pripadanje.
Of truth.
Istina.
Of mercy.
Milost.
Of acceptance.
Prihvaćenost.
Justice.
Pravda.
Freedom.
Sloboda.
These are only some of the dishes in that buffet or restaurant of love.
Znači, ovo su samo neki od tanjira restorana ljubavi.
And as I go through the restaurant,
I kako idem kroz restoran,
I have the opportunity of taking all that I need.
Imam mogućnost da uzmem sve što mi je potrebno.
It is not God's responsibility to fill you with love.
Nije Božja odgovornost da vas ispuni sa ljubavlju.
It's His responsibility to make sure that it's available.
Njegova odgovornost je da ona bude pristupačna vama.
But it's your own responsibility to take it.
Ali je vaša odgovornost da vi uzmete,
that you might be full.
Da bi bili ispunjeni.
There are certain aspects of this restaurant
Postoje neki aspekti ovog restorana
that are different from other restaurants.
koji su drugačiji od drugih restorana.
And we find out a little bit about that in the Bible.
I to možemo da pronađemo malo neke osnove u Bibliji.
In the book of Hebrews,
I u poslanici Jevrejima,
we find that God says,
i piše da Bog kaže,
I will never leave you nor forsake you.
Nikad te neću ostaviti i odstupiti od tebe.
That means that the restaurant will never be closed.
To znači da restoran nikad neće biti zatvoren.
It's always open.
Uvijek je otvoren.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
7 dana u nedelji, 24 časa.
And in the book of Jeremiah,
I u knjizi proroka Jeremija,
God tells us,
Bog nam kaže,
I have loved you with an everlasting love.
Kaže, ljubio sam te ljubavlju večnu.
Therefore with loving kindness I have drawn you.
I njim sam te prizvao.
That tells us
To nam govori
that this restaurant never goes empty.
da taj restoran nikad neće biti prazan.
It's always full.
Uvijek je napunjen.
And the Bible tells us
Biblia nam kaže
in Isaiah
u Isaiji
that we read that everyone who thirsts come to the waters.
Svi koji su žedni dođite ka vodi.
You who have no money,
I koji nemate novca,
come buy and eat.
odite, kupujte i jedite.
Yes, come buy wine and milk without money and without price.
Odite, kupujte bez novca, bez plate, vina i mleka.
This tells us
Ovo nam govori
that the restaurant is free.
da je restoran besplatan.
Well, free to you and me.
Besplatan za vas i mene.
But God Himself paid for it.
Ali Bog sam je platio za ovo sve.
So we can come to that restaurant at any time.
I mi možemo da uđemo u taj restoran u bilo koje vreme.
Every dish will be full.
Znači svaki tanjir će biti pun
And it's free.
i besplatan.
But it's not the only restaurant.
Ali to nije jedini restoran.
There are other restaurants available too.
Tu su i drugi restorani koji su prisutni.
Restaurants of selfishness.
Restorani sebičnosti.
And others have these restaurants of selfishness.
I drugi imaju ove restorane sebičnosti.
And these restaurants have different dishes in them.
I ovi restorani u sebi imaju razne tanjire.
They have dishes of power,
Tanjir moći,
pleasure,
zadovoljstva,
popularity,
popularnosti,
possessions.
imovine.
But they also offer plates of betrayal,
I imaju tanjire izdaje,
abuse,
zlostavljanja,
deceit,
prevare
and control.
i kontrole.
Right? These are various different dishes on the selfishness buffet.
Ovo su razni tanjiri u tom švedskom stolu.
And human nature
I ljudska priroda
naturally takes from the bottom buffet.
prirodno uzima iz švedskog stola, donjeg švedskog stola.
That's where we gravitate towards.
To je mesto, mi gravitiramo ka tome.
So, from a human standpoint, we're always eating from here,
Iz ljudske tačke gledišta mi uvek jedemo odavde,
even though God's buffet is always available.
iako je Božji švedski sto uvek dostupan.
And we will continue eating from here
Mi ćemo nastaviti da jedemo odavde,
until we realize that we can take from there.
svo da ne shvatimo da mi možemo da uzmemo od gore.
Now, you have heard the phrase, you are what you eat.
Čuli ste za frazu, vi ste ono što jedete.
Correct?
Je li to tačno?
You eat an apple,
Pojedete jabuku,
and parts of the apple become part of who you are.
delovi jabuke postanu deo vas.
Well, it's the same thing when you eat off of these buffets.
Ista stvar je ako jedete iz ovih švedskih stolova,
You become like what you eat.
vi postanete ono što jedete.
Have you ever had the experience
Da li ste nekad imali iskustvo
of being with family members
da ste bili sa članovima porodice
and the family member is frustrated?
i član porodice je isfrustriran?
You might have been happy when you came home,
Možda ste bili veseli i srećni kad ste došli kući,
but they're grumpy.
ali oni su namrgođeni
And in not very long, you are grumpy too.
i nedugo nakon toga i vi ste namrgođeni.
Does that ever happen?
Da li se to ikada vama desilo?
Yeah, me too.
Da, i meni se desilo.
You know, I have a wife and 6 children.
Ja imam ženu i 6 dece.
Right? So, you know, we can have some family issues.
I mi možemo da imamo neke porodične probleme.
If my wife is frustrated by the children,
I ako je moja žena isfrustrirana sa decom,
then I have the tendency to get frustrated too.
i ja imam tendenciju da budem isfrustriran.
Do you know why that is?
Da li vi znate zašto je to?
It's because I'm eating off of her buffet.
Zato što ja jedem sa njenog švedskog stola.
And when I eat off of her buffet,
I kad jedem sa njenog švedskog stola,
I become like her.
postajem kao ona.
Right? The stuff she has on her buffet is the stuff I take.
Znači, stvari koje ona servirala na tom švedskom stolu, ja to uzimam.
And I become like it.
I ja postajem kao to.
You know, it's a problem
To je problem.
because people change all the time.
Ljudi se stalno menjaju.
They might be happy one day,
Jednog dana mogu da budu veseli,
depressed another day,
depresivni sledeći dan,
angry one day,
ljuti jedan dan,
apologetic another day.
sledeći dan se izvinjavaju.
When you go to their buffet,
Kad odete u njihov švedski stol,
you never know what you're gonna get.
nikad ne znate šta ćete da dobijete.
But you can be sure of this,
Ali za jednu stvar možda budete sigurni,
whatever you get,
šta god dobijete,
it will not be good in the long run.
neće biti dobro na duge staze.
But
Ali,
when you eat from God's buffet,
kad jedete sa Božjeg švedskog stola,
He never changes.
on se nikada ne menja.
And what He has in His buffet is always good.
I ono što on ima na svom švedskom stolu je uvek dobro.
So you can always go and take from that buffet,
Znači uvek možete odete u taj švedski stol i uzmete
and that love that you take
i ta ljubav koju uzimate
will become a part of who you are.
će postati deo onoga ko ste vi.
And then guess what?
I znate šta će se onda desiti?
You can give it away.
Vi možete da date.
What you give away to others
Ono što date drugima
reveals where you took from.
otkriva odakle ste vi to uzeli.
If you respond really well to others
Ako dobro odgovorite drugima,
in a loving and selfless way,
da ne bude neki sebičan način sa ljubavlju,
then you took from his buffet.
onda ste uzeli od njegovog švedskog stola.
But if you respond in a selfish way,
Ali ako odgovorite na neki sebičan način,
then you were taking from another buffet.
onda uzimate sa drugog švedskog stola.
That's just how it works.
Tako to funkcioniše.
And so, again, we naturally take from others' buffets,
I prirodno mi uzimamo sa švedskog stola drugih ljudi,
but we don't have to.
ali mi to ne moramo.
We can,
Mi možemo,
by taking from God's buffet,
Da ako uzimamo iz švedskog stola od Boga,
be free from others manipulating us.
budemo slobodni od toga da nas drugi manipulišu.
Because the only one that can manipulate you
Jedina osoba koja može da vas manipuliše
is the one who you eat off of their buffet.
je ona sa čijeg švedskog stola ti jedeš.
If you don't eat off of their buffet,
Ako ne jedeš sa njihovog švedskog stola,
they can't control you.
oni ne mogu da vas kontrolišu.
They can't control you.
Ne mogu da vas kontrolišu.
Many of us are familiar with the life of Jesus.
Većina od nas smo upoznati sa životom Isusa.
And Jesus, which buffet did he eat from?
I sa čijeg švedskog stola je Isus uzimao?
His father's.
Njegovog oca.
How much of the time did he eat from his father's buffet?
Koliko često je on jeo sa švedskog stola svog oca?
All the time.
Stalno.
So guess whose buffet he never ate from?
I pogodite sa kog švedskog stola on nikada nije jeo.
He never ate from others' buffet.
On nije jeo sa drugih ljudi, švedskog stola drugih ljudi.
So nobody could manipulate him.
Tako da niko nije mogu da ga manipuliše.
He was always oriented towards his father.
On je bio uvijek usmeren ka svome ocu.
And if somebody was angry and frustrated around him,
I ako je neko bio ljut ili frustriran oko njega,
he didn't get angry and frustrated
on se nije ljutio i nije se isfrustrirao.
because he wasn't taking from their buffet.
Jer on nije uzimao sa njihovog švedskog stola.
He was taking from his father's.
On je uzimao od svoga oca.
And his father had good stuff.
I njegov otac imao dobre stvari.
And so when Jesus gave things, he gave good stuff.
I kad Isus dava, on je davao dobre stvari.
All right, let's go on from that buffet.
Hajmo da se sklonimo sa tog švedskog stola.
Christmas time is coming up soon.
Božić uskoro dolazi.
Let's imagine that the individual in your life that you love the most.
Hajmo da zamislimo da imate osobu koju jako volite u vašem životu.
And you want to get them the perfect present.
I hoćete da im date savršeni poklon.
So you think of them and their personality.
Razmišljate o njima, o njihovoj ličnosti.
You go shopping the stores to see what you might get.
Odlazite u prodavnice da vidite šta ćete da im kupite.
You find the perfect present.
I nađete savršeni poklon.
But you don't have enough money.
Ali vi nemate dovoljno novca.
So you got to wait for a few paychecks
I onda mora da sačekate nekoliko plata
to have enough money to buy the present.
da bi imali dovoljno novca da kupite taj poklon.
But eventually you buy it,
I konačno ga kupite,
you wrap it up nicely,
lepo ga spakujete
and you wait for Christmas.
i čekate na Božić.
And then when Christmas comes,
I onda kada dođe Božić,
you go and you knock on the door.
onda pokucate na vrata
And they open the door,
i oni otvore vrata
and you give them the present.
i date im poklon
And they take the present,
i oni uzmu poklon
and they throw it on the ground, they slam on it.
i kaže oni ga bace na zemlju i zgaze
And
ga
they slam the door.
i zalupe vrata.
How do you feel?
Kako se osjećate?
No? Bad? No? All right. What's the delivery company on here? DHL, FedEx? Yeah, all right. So now, a different scenario.
A sada ćemo vidjeti drugi scenarij.
You are working for a delivery company.
Znači radite za jednu kurirsku službu.
You've been working for that company for years.
Znači radite već za tu kurirsku službu više godina.
You enjoy your job.
I uživate u tom poslu.
And one day you stop at a particular residence.
I u jednom trenutku vi se zaustavite kod jedne kuće.
You take the package.
Uzmete paket.
You go to the door.
Dođete do vrata. Pokucate.
The homeowner comes out.
Vlasnik izađe.
You have them sign for the package.
I potpišu za paket.
They sign for it.
I oni potpišu.
They take the package.
Uzmu paket.
They throw it on the ground. They slam on it.
Znači bace ga na pod i zgaze ga.
And slam the door.
I zalupe vrata.
How do you feel?
Kako se sad osjećate?
Okay. Yeah? Did you feel the same in the first scenario as you did the second scenario?
Da li ste se osjećali isto u prvom i u drugom scenariju?
No. Okay. Why not?
Zašto ne?
In the first scenario,
U prvom scenariju
it was mine.
to je moje.
It was my present,
To je moj poklon,
purchased with my money,
kupljen mojim novcem,
that represented my love,
koji predstavlja moju ljubav
and it was given to my loved one.
i bio je dat mojoj voljenoj osobi.
But in the second scenario,
Ali u drugom scenariju
it's not mine.
to nije moje.
It wasn't my present.
To nije moj poklon,
It wasn't purchased with my money.
nije kupljeno s mojim novcem,
It doesn't represent my love,
ne predstavlja moju ljubav
and that was not my loved one.
i to nije moja bila voljena osoba.
So the degree to which you believe it is yours
Stepen do koga vi verujete da je to tvoje, vaše,
is the degree to which you will be hurt,
je stepen dokle ćete vi biti povređeni,
upset,
ljuti,
angry,
da opet ljuti,
crushed,
slomljeni,
rejected,
odbačeni,
when the present is not treated well.
kada poklon nije tretiran lepo.
But the degree to which it is not yours
Stepen do onog do kojeg nije on vaš,
is the degree to which none of those will be true.
je stepen do koga ništa od toga neće biti istinito.
None of those.
Nijedno od tih stvari.
Because it's not yours.
Jer to nije vaše.
It's not about you.
To nije u vezi vas.
Now, there's another component to this,
Postoji još jedna komponenta toga,
and that is
a to je,
I am hurt
ja sam povređen
because I did not receive what I expected.
jer nisam dobio ono što sam očekivao.
So let's be honest.
Ajmo da budemo iskreni.
When you gave the present,
Kad ste dali poklon,
did you have any expectations?
da li ste imali neka očekivanja?
If you had no expectations,
Da niste imali očekivanja,
you would not have been hurt by their response.
ne bi bili povređeni načinom koji su oni odgovorili.
But we give with expectations
Ali mi dajemo sa očekivanjima.
that we might have a smile,
Da bi dobili osmeh,
that they might be happy that we gave it,
da bi bili veseli kad smo im dali,
maybe a hug,
možda neki zagrljaj
a kiss,
ili poljubac
or something else, right?
ili nešto drugo.
We're looking for some kind of response back again,
Mi čekamo na neki odgovor nazad
and we didn't get it.
i nismo dobili.
Right? You see, human love
Vidite, ljudska ljubav
gives
daje
in order to receive.
da bi dobila nazad.
Human love is an investment.
Ljudska ljubav je investicija.
We put something of value in someone else
Mi stavimo neku vrednost u nekog drugog
that we might get something of greater value back.
da bi dobili nazad još veću vrednost.
That's just how we operate.
Tako mi funkcionišemo.
Let me ask you this.
Hajde da vam postavim još jedno pitanje.
Does God invest in His children?
Da li Bog investira u svoju decu?
No. He doesn't.
Ne.
No, He doesn't.
Ne, on ne investira.
And we'll talk about that later.
I govorit ćemo o tome kasnije.
I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase no strings attached.
Ne znam da li ste čuli za frazu bez nekih zakačenih konopaca.
The idea that somebody might give a gift without an expectation.
Neko ko bi dao poklon bez očekivanja.
But when it comes to human love,
Ali kad dolazimo kod ljudske ljubavi,
there's always strings attached.
uvek neki repovi vuku se.
For example,
Na primer,
you're at home
kod kuće ste,
and somebody knocks on the door.
neko pokuca na vrata,
You go and answer the door,
vi otvorite,
and it's a new neighbor.
to je novi komšija.
You've never met them before.
Nikad ga ranije niste upoznali,
They introduce themselves
oni vam se predstave
and say that they're meeting the neighbors,
i oni upoznaju komšije
and they hand you 20 euros
i daju vam 20 evra
They say, here, use this for whatever you want.
i kažu evo iskoristi ovo za šta god hoćeš
And they leave.
i oni odu.
What are you thinking?
Šta vi razmišljate?
All right. Next scenario.
Sljedeći scenariju,
Same thing happens.
ista stvar se dešava,
Neighbor comes.
komšija pokuca,
It's the first time.
ovo je prvi put
And they have a suitcase.
i sad imaju kofer
And they hand you the suitcase.
i oni vam daju te
They
kofer
say, here, use this for anything you want to.
i kaže koristi ovo za bilo šta god ti treba
And they leave.
i oni odu.
And you open up the suitcase.
I vi otvorite kofer
And 100 euro bills come spilling out all over the place.
i ove stotke od evra samo izleću iz kofera.
Now what are you thinking?
Kako vi sada razmišljate?
All right. Would you rather accept the 20 euro
Da li bi vi radije prihvatili 20 evra
or the suitcase full of 100 euros?
ili kofer pun novčanica od 100 evra?
Which one would you take?
Koji bi uzeli?
So you're taking the 20,
Uzet ćete 20?
right? Why?
Zašto?
Because you know.
Jer vi znate.
You know humanity.
Vi znate ljudsku prirodu.
And the bigger the gift,
Što je veći poklon,
the bigger the string.
veći su repovi.
And the harder they can pull later.
I teško ih je povući kasnije.
Right? But don't we do that even as parents?
Zar mi to ne činimo isto kad smo kao roditelji?
You have a child that's getting to their teenage years,
Imamo dete koje ide u svoje tinejdžerske godine
and they're getting a bit rebellious.
i malo su buntovnički nastrojeni.
So you buy them a car.
I onda im kupite auto.
Right? And so now they have some freedom.
I sad imaju neku slobodu,
But in reality,
ali u stvarnosti
the car comes with a cord.
auto dolazi sa lancem.
If you get too rebellious,
Ako si previše buntovan,
the car comes back to me.
auto se vraća ka meni.
We use it to control.
Mi koristimo da kontrolišemo.
It's not a gift.
Nije poklon,
It's an investment.
to je investicija.
And we give with an expectation of return.
Mi dajemo u očekivanju da dobijemo nešto nazad, povrat.
And how much return we need depends upon our expectations.
I koliko hoćemo nazad zavisi od naših očekivanja.
Now let's dive into the heart.
Hajmo da idemo ka srce.
Now we're not talking about the blood pumping muscle.
Mi ne govorimo o mišiću koji pumpa krv,
We're talking about the center of you,
govorimo o centru vašem,
where you make your decisions.
gde pravite vaše odluke,
Unconscious decisions.
nesvesne odluke.
And you and I make decisions predictably.
I ja i vi pravimo odluke koje očekujemo.
There are only two criteria by which we make decisions.
Postoje dve kriterijuma kako pravimo odluke.
And those are gain and loss.
To je gubitak i dobitak.
And we always say yes to gain.
I uvek ćemo reći da na dobitak.
And we always say no to loss.
I ne na gubitak.
For example,
Na primjer,
imagine that there are two doors that get into this room.
evo, zamislite da imamo dvoje vrata kako možete uđeti u ovu prostoriju.
If you go out the back door, I will pay you 1,000 euros.
Ako izađete kroz ona vrata, ja ću vas platiti 1000 evra.
If you go out the front door, you pay me 1,000 euros.
Ako izađete kroz ova vrata, vi meni plaćate 1000 evra.
Which door are you going out?
Kroz koje vrata ćete izaći?
Well, you're going out the back door, of course.
Naravno da ćete otići kroz ova vrata, zadnje.
Why?
Zašto?
It's because we always choose a gain over a loss.
Zato što mi uvek izabiremo dobitak naspram gubitka.
Now, same scenario, but different.
Sličan scenarij, malo drugačiji.
If you go out the back door,
Ako odete na zadnja vrata,
I'll pay you 1,000 euros.
ja ću vas platiti 10.000 evra,
But if you go out the front door, I'll pay you 10 euros.
a ako idete na ova vrata, ja ću vas platiti 10 evra.
Which door are you going out?
Na koja vrata ćete sad izaći?
Well, you're still going out the back door.
Opet izgledate na zadnja vrata.
Why?
Zašto?
Because we always choose a greater gain over a smaller gain.
Jer mi uvek izabiramo veći dobitak naspram manjeg dobitka.
Now, finally,
Konačno,
all we have is these two doors.
mi imamo samo ovih dvoja vrata,
No windows,
nemamo prozore,
no other way out of the room.
nijedan drugi način da se izađe iz prostorije.
If you go out the front door,
Ako idete kroz ova prednja vrata,
you have to pay me 1,000 euros.
vi morate meni da platite 1000 evra,
But if you go out the back door, you have to pay me 10 euros.
ali ako izađete na zadnja vrata, meni plaćate 10 evra.
Which door are you going out?
Kroz koja vrata ćete sad izaći?
But you're still going out the back door,
Opet izlazite na zadnja vrata,
because eventually you got to go to the bathroom.
jer morate da idete do WC-a.
If you're going out the back door,
Ako odete na zadnja vrata,
because if you're confronted between two losses,
ako ste suočeni sa dva gubitka,
you will always choose the smaller loss over the greater loss.
uvek ćete izabrati manji gubitak naspram većeg gubitka.
So we are always choosing towards the gain and away from the loss.
I mi uvek gravitiramo ka većem dobitku i manjem gubitku.
Is that clear?
Da li vam je to jasno?
So, because we always choose yes to gain and no to loss,
Jer uvek izabiramo da na dobitak i ne na gubitak,
that means that we cannot be tempted to lose.
to znači da mi ne možemo da budemo iskušani da izgubimo.
Because loss is no temptation.
Jer gubitak nije neko iskušenje.
For example,
Na primer,
I have some poison,
ja imam neki otrov,
it will kill you,
ubiće vas,
it will kill you slowly,
ubiće vas polako,
it will be very painful while you die,
biće bolno dok budete umirali
and there's no cure for it.
i ne postoji lek za to.
Do you want some?
Da li želite malo?
No?
Ne?
You're not interested?
Niste zainteresovani?
You're not tempted to have some?
Niste iskušali da uzete malo?
But it's a pretty blue color.
Ali izgleda lepa plava boja.
No, it's no temptation at all.
Ne, nije to nikakvo iskušenje.
Loss is no temptation.
Gubitak nije iskušenje.
But we get tempted all the time.
Ali iskušani smo stalno.
So how does that happen?
Kako nam se to dešava?
Well, what happens is we must get tricked,
Ono što se desi, mi moramo da budemo prevareni.
deceived,
Opet prevareni.
in order to believe that loss is gain and gain is loss.
Da budemo prevareni da je gubitak dobitak, a dobitak dobitak.
And we find this scenario playing out in a very old story.
I ovaj scenario se odigrava u jednoj staroj priči.
Right? It's the story of the Garden of Eden.
To je priča iz Edemskog vrta.
And the characters are Adam and Eve,
I karakteri su Adam i Eva,
God,
Bog
and the snake.
i zmija.
Right? So God told Adam and Eve,
I Bog je rekao Adamu i Evi,
if you eat of that tree of knowledge of good and evil,
ako pojedeš sa tog stabla dobra i zla,
you will lose.
ti ćeš izgubiti,
You'll die.
umrećeš.
But if you don't eat it, you gain.
Ali ako ne jedeš, ti si dobio.
And then the snake came along
I onda je zmija došla
and told a different story.
i rekla drugu priču.
And we read about it in Genesis chapter 3.
I tu možemo da pročitamo u prvoj knjizi Mojsijevoj, 3. poglavlje.
And it says here,
I ovdje kaže,
the serpent was more wise than any beast of the field which the Lord had made.
a kaže, zmija beše lukavim svih zveri poljskih koje stvori Gospod Bog.
And he said to the woman,
Pa reče ženi,
did God really say you shouldn't eat of every tree of the garden?
je li istina da je Bog kazao da ne jedeš sa svakoga drveta u vrtu?
So the woman responded to the serpent,
A žena reče zmiji,
and she said, well, we can eat of any tree of the garden,
mi jedemo roda sa svakoga drveta,
but that tree, we can't eat it
u vrtu samo sa roda sa ovoga drveta,
or touch it,
usred vrta da ga jedemo i da ga diramo,
because if we do, we'll die.
jer ako učinimo to umrećemo.
And the serpent said,
A zmija reče ženi,
Eve, let's think about this a little bit.
ajde evo malo da razmislimo o ovome.
You might not be right.
Možda nisi u pravu.
I came to this tree months ago
Ja sam došao pre par meseci ovde kod ovog drveta,
and I ate its fruit.
ja sam pojeo njen plod
And immediately when I ate the fruit,
i čim sam pojeo taj plod,
I received the ability to think
ja sam dobio mogućnost da mislim
and reason
i da rezonujem
and speak.
i da govorim.
I have powers now that I didn't even think were possible.
I ja imam moć i snagu i silu koju nisam zamišljao da imam.
And I'm not dead.
I ja nisam mrtav.
And God knows
I Bog zna
that when you eat from this tree,
kada ti budeš pojela sa tog drveta,
you will be like God,
postaćeš kao Bog.
knowing good and evil.
Znaćeš između dobra i zla.
I don't know how many of you fly.
Ne znam koliko od vas leti.
I don't mean with wing. I mean like in an airplane,
Mislim na avion.
right? I travel frequently,
Ja često putujem.
and when you go onto the airplane,
I kad idete na avion,
the first section you walk through looks really nice,
prva deo izgleda jako lep.
right? Wide seats,
Široka sedišta,
plenty of leg room.
dosta mesta za noge.
But then you walk past those nice seats,
I onda prođete ta lepa sedišta
and the seats get skinny,
i onda sedišta su
and
mršavije
the space for your legs gets short.
i prostor za noge je manji.
There's first class,
Postoji prva klasa
and there's economy.
i ekonomska klasa.
Now, I always fly economy,
Ja uvek putujem ekonomsku klasu,
but I always look at first class while I walk by,
ali ja uvek pogledam na prvu klasu dok prolazim.
thinking that would be nice.
Razmišljam, to bi bilo lepo.
Now, God created Adam and Eve for first class.
Znači, Bog je stvorio Adama i Evu za prvu klasu.
And so, in order to preserve them for first class,
I da bi ih sačuvao za prvu klasu,
he had to withhold economy from them.
on je morao da suzdrži ekonomsku klasu,
But the serpent came along,
ali je zmija došla
and the serpent said,
i zmija je rekla,
"You're not in first class.
ti nisi u prvoj klasi,
You're in economy.
ti si u ekonomskoj stvari klasi.
First class is over there.
Prva klasa je tamo,
You're mistaken."
prevarena si.
So, God created Adam and Eve for only good.
Znači, Bog je stvorio Adama i Evu samo za dobro.
But the serpent came along and said, good and evil is better.
I zmija je rekla, ne, dobro i zlo je bolje.
God said, if you eat it, you lose.
Bog je rekao, ako pojedeš ti gubiš.
The enemy said, if you eat it, you gain.
A neprijatelj, ako ne pojedeš ti dobiješ.
Right? God said,
Ako pojedeš dobiješ.
if you don't eat it, you gain.
Bog je rekao, ako ne jedeš, onda dobijaš.
And the enemy said, if you don't eat it, you lose.
A neprijatelj je rekao, ako ne jedeš, onda si izgubio.
The enemy just came along and took all of the gains and losses and turned them upside down.
I neprijatelj je sve gubitke i dobitke samo okrenuo na opačke.
And guess what?
I znate šta?
Eve believed him,
Eva mu je verovala.
and she ate the fruit.
I ona je pojela plod.
And she gave some to Adam,
I ona je dala malo Adamu.
and he ate the fruit.
I on je pojeo.
And guess what has happened ever since that time?
I znate šta se desilo uvek od tog trenutka?
You and I are upside down.
Ja i vi smo na opačke.
Upside down?
Na opačke.
We have grown up in a world that is upside down.
Mi smo odrasli u svetu koji je na opačke.
Are you crazy?
Da li ste vi ludi?
If you were crazy, how would you know that you were crazy?
Da ste vi ludi, kako bi vi znali da ste ludi?
And if you were crazy, how would you know you weren't crazy?
I da ste ludi, kako bi znali da niste ludi?
Now, as a physician,
Kao doktor,
I have cared for many individuals who are crazy.
ja sam se brinuo o dosta ljudi koji su ludi.
Some of them think that they have a microchip in their brain
Neki misle da imaju neki mikročip u mozgu
that allows the government to send them signals
koji dozvoljava vladi, državi da šalje neke signale
and
unutra
tell them what to do.
da im govore šta da rade.
Others believe that they have superpowers.
Drugi veruju da imaju nadmoćne sile.
Right? Others have all sorts of delusions.
I raznih iluzija.
And I have never been able to talk somebody out of their delusion.
I nikad nisam uspeo da nekoga odgovorim ili nagovorim od njihove iluzije.
You know why?
Znate zašto?
Because they believe their delusion is real.
Jer oni veruju da njihova iluzija je realna.
Just as much as I believe my reality is real.
Kao što ja verujem da je moja realnost prava.
But the question that I have for you is,
Ali pitanje koje imam za vas,
how do we know my reality is real?
kako mi znamo da je moja realnost prava?
What if all of us were born
Šta ako smo mi svi rođeni
in a delusional state
u iluzijnom stanju
with the same delusion?
sa istom iluzijom?
So when we went to each other and we checked,
I kad bi otišli jedan ka drugom,
it would all be the same story.
bila bi ista priča.
How would we ever know that we're crazy?
Kako bi mi znali da smo mi ludi?
I mean, crazy.
Lud.
Like locked up crazy.
I da ste ludi pa da vas zaključaju.
The reality is,
Realnost, sadašnja stvarnost je,
we're crazy.
nismo ludi.
We're upside down.
Sve je naopačke, sve je izokrenuto.
And everything is backwards
I sve je u rikverc, onako naopako,
from how God created us.
onako kako nas je Bog stvorio.
God is not responsible for the chaos that you see.
Gospod nije odgovoran za haos koji vi danas vidite.
He is the one who's trying to fix it.
On je taj koji pokušava da popravi ovo sve.
But he has to convince us first that we're crazy,
Ali on prvo mora da nas osvedoči da smo ludi,
so that he can bring us a different reality
da bi nam doneo drugu realnost,
that will set us free.
koja će nas osloboditi.
But it's really hard to convince somebody they're crazy.
Ali je jako teško ubediti nekoga da je lud.
Now, that enemy told Eve, you will be like God.
I taj neprijatelj je rekao Evi da ćeš biti kao Bog.
Is it possible that you and I believe that today?
Da li je moguće da vi i ja verujemo u to danas?
Well,
Pa,
if you say no,
ako kažete ne,
you're crazy.
vi ste ludi.
Right? Crazy. All right, let's look at this some more.
Ajmo još malo da pogledamo ovo.
Now, this heart has expectations,
Ovo srce ima očekivanja,
and we have human love,
imamo ljudsku ljubav,
and that love gives in order to receive,
ljubav daje da bi dobila,
which is an investment.
što je investicija.
And if my love gives in order to receive,
I ako moja ljubav daje da bi dobila,
then my gain is receiving.
znači moj dobitak je ono što dobijem.
And the more I receive, the more gain I have.
I što više primim, to više i dobijem.
Your great aunt dies
Vaša velika neka stara tetka je umrla
and leaves you in the will,
i ostavi vas u testamentu
and you get 100 euros.
i dobijete 100 evra.
Or your great aunt dies and leaves you in the will,
Ili vaša tetka umre i ostavi vas u testamentu
and you get 3 million euros.
i dobijete 3 miliona evra.
Which one do you want more?
Koju teku ili šta više volite?
The 3 million euros.
3 miliona evra.
Right? Because the greater the gain,
Što je veći
I mean, the
dobitak,
greater the receiving, the greater the gain.
što je više primili, veći je dobitak.
But at least if we receive enough,
Ali ako dobijemo dovoljno,
we're still in gain.
i dalje smo u dobitku.
Right? It might be less, but it's still enough.
Možda je manje, ali je dovoljno.
But once we go below our level of expectations,
Ali kada dođemo ispod nivoa koje očekujemo
and we receive less than we expect,
i dobijemo manje nego što očekujemo,
now we're in loss.
sad smo u gubitku.
Right? Now we're in loss. We're still receiving,
I dalje primamo,
but we're not receiving enough.
ali ne primamo dovoljno.
Now, what's worse than receiving not enough?
Šta je gore od neprimanja dovoljno?
What's worse is to not receive anything.
Šta je gore od toga da ne primimo ništa?
And what's worse than not receiving anything?
Šta je gore od neprimanja ničega?
Losing your treasure.
Da gubite vaše blago.
So this heart has various gains and losses.
I ovo srce ima razne gubitke i dobitke.
So let's look at what this looks like in a relationship.
Hajmo sad da pogledamo kako to izgleda u odnosu.
So you have a young man and a young woman.
Imate mladog devojku i momka.
And they meet each other somewhere.
I oni se upoznaju negde.
And there's this attraction.
I postoji privlačnost.
And so he wants more.
I on želi više.
So in order to get more,
I da bi dobio više,
you have to give more.
Mora da da više.
Right? So he needs to give some attention.
On mora da da neku pažnju,
Give some conversation.
neki razgovor,
Right? Give some time.
neko vreme.
Right? But he's looking to receive back attention.
Znači on očekuje da dobije tu pažnju nazad,
Acceptance.
prihvatljivost,
Belonging.
pripadanje,
Right?
da.
So he gives,
On daje
and she likes to receive.
i ona voli da prima
So she likes this.
i njoj se to sviđa.
So she needs to give too
I sad ona treba da da,
in order to receive more.
da dobije još.
And so they do.
I oni to rade.
And he gives more,
I on daje više,
and she gives more,
i ona da više,
and both of them receive more,
i oboje dobijaju još
and
više.
both of them are happy.
I oboje su srećni.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Prelepo je.
It's like floating on clouds.
Kaže, letim na oblacima.
Right?
Da, zar ne?
Do some of you remember this age?
Da li se sećate tog doba?
It was wonderful.
Bilo je prelepo.
Now, eventually he thinks she's a permanent gain.
Ali on konačno misli da je ona osoba koju treba zauvek imati, primiti, dobiti.
So if she's a permanent gain, what must he do?
I ako on vidi da je to osoba koju treba zadržati stalno, šta on treba da učini?
He must secure that gain.
On mora da zaštiti svoj taj dobitak.
So he has to face Papa.
I on mora da razgovara sa njenim ocem.
Right? So that he can get to baby.
Da bi došao do bebe.
Right? And so Papa gives his consent.
I otac se složi.
And he asks her if she will marry him.
I on je pita da li bi se ona udala za njega.
And she thinks he's a gain.
I ona misli da je on dobitak.
So she says,
I ona kaže,
yes.
da.
Right. And so the relationship continues.
I odnos se nastavlja.
And then they get married.
Onda se oni venčaju.
And what happens then?
Šta se onda dešava?
I see a lot of wise faces out here.
Ja vidim puno mudrih lica ovde.
What happens after marriage?
Šta se dešava posle venčanja?
Well,
Pa,
it takes a lot of effort to catch the fish.
Potrebno je puno truda da uhvatite ribu.
And sometimes it takes less effort to keep the fish.
I manje truda da zadržite ribu.
Right?
Da?
So, you have to go to work.
Morate da idete na posao.
And you have to pay for the fish tank, the house.
Morate da platite za akvariju, kuća.
And maybe after a long day of work, you're tired.
I posle napornog dana umorni ste.
You just want to relax.
Hoćete dođete kuće da se odmorite.
Read the paper.
Čitate novine.
Watch TV.
Gledate televizor.
Do something.
Radite nešto drugo.
And so, what happens to her?
Šta se dešava sa njom?
Well, she receives less.
Ona prima manje
And
sada.
less.
I još manje.
And less.
I još manje.
And how can she stay out of loss?
I kako ona može da ostane, a da ne bude u gubitku?
Well, the only way she can stay out of loss is to lower her expectations.
Jedini način da ona ostane u gubitku je da snizi svoje očekivanja.
But maybe she gets to the point where she says, enough is enough.
Ali možda ona dođe do tačke gde kaže, dosta je dosta.
I'm not lowering my expectations anymore.
Ja ne snižavam svoje očekivanja više.
Now what must happen?
Šta se sad mora desiti?
Well,
Pa,
you can try to fix him.
ona može da proba da ga popravi, ispravi.
So you have one of those conversations
Imate jedno od takvih razgovora.
about how you need to improve and love me more.
Kako ti moraš da se poboljšaš i da me voliš više.
And if they're convinced
I ako su oni osvedočeni,
and they start giving more,
i ako oni daju više,
success.
uspeh.
Right? But if that doesn't work,
Ali ako to ne radi,
you might have to get the counselor or the pastor involved
morate da imate nekog savjetnika,
so that they can convince the deadbeat to give more.
da oni osvedoče osobu da daje više,
Right? So that it's above the level of your expectations.
tako da je iznad nivoa vašeg očekivanja.
And if they give more,
I ako daju više,
success.
uspeh.
Right? But if they don't,
Ali ako oni to ne,
oh, you're stuck in loss.
onda ste zaglavljeni u gubitku.
And the heart always says no to loss.
I srce uvek kaže ne za gubitak.
So you've got a few options.
Imate par opcija.
One, you could separate.
Jedan je može da se razvedete,
You could divorce.
da se odvojite ili razvedete.
You could separate but live in the same home.
Možete da se razdvojite, a da živite u istoj kući.
Different rooms, different beds,
Različite sobe, različiti kreveti,
different lives.
različiti životi.
Or you can go looking for another gain.
Ili da tražite drugi dobitak.
That doesn't happen in this country.
To se ne dešava u ovoj zemlji.
I've been to enough countries to know it happens in every country.
Bio sam u dovoljno zemalja da znam da se ovo dešava u svakoj zemlji.
Right? So why do we find separation and divorce and counseling and adultery?
Zašto nalazimo preljube, razvode, razdvajanja, savjetovanja?
Because this is the heart that we have,
Zato što je ovo srce koje imamo
and that's how it operates.
i ono tako funkcioniše.
You want to know why people do what they do?
Da li znate zašto ljudi rade ono što rade?
This is why.
To je zato.
It's because we're upside down.
Zato što je sve okrenuto naopačke,
We're
prevrnuto.
crazy.
Mi smo ludi.
We eat off of other people's buffet,
Mi jedemo od švedskog stola drugih ljudi
and our gains and losses are backwards.
i naši dobitak i gubitak su izokrenuti.
Now this heart believes it's mine.
Znači, ovo srce veruje da je to moje.
Right? I have it, it's my possession.
Ja imam, ja to posjedujem.
I can create it or produce it.
Ja mogu da to stvorim.
And I am my own to do whatever I want to with me.
Ja sam svoj i ja mogu da radim šta god hoću.
All right, so I know that there are a number of Christians in the room.
I znam da imamo neku, većina od nas su hrišćani.
So how much do you own?
Koliko ste vi vlasnik nečega?
How much of it is yours?
Koliko je to vaše?
None,
Ništa.
right?
Da.
Because you didn't create it.
Niste to stvorili,
It's from God,
to je od Boga.
right? So it's His.
To je njegovo.
You're not the owner,
Vi niste vlasnici,
you're the steward.
vi ste pristavi.
But let's imagine you're the steward,
Ajmo kažem, vi ste pristav,
but you treat it as if you're the owner.
a vi to tretirate kao da ste vlasnik.
It's the owner's car, but you treat it as if it's your own car.
To je od vlasnika auta, vi ga tretirate da je taj auto kao da je vaš.
You would be selfish.
Bićete onda sebični.
Selfishness underlies that.
To je sebičnost.
Two children are playing.
Dvoje dece se igraju,
There's one toy,
jedna igračka
and the toy belongs to the one child,
i jedna igračka pripada jednom detetu
and the other child comes,
i drugo dete dolazi,
takes the toy away,
uzima igračku
and plays with it as if it's their own,
i igra se sa njom kao da je njena.
you would say that child is selfish.
I rekli bi da je ovo dete sebično.
Right? And you would be right.
I bili bi u pravu.
It's the same for us.
Isto je i za nas.
And to think that we can produce or create anything on our own,
I da razmišljam da mi možemo da kreiramo i da stvorimo nešto sami od sebe
and that we are our own to do whatever we want with us,
i da smo mi svoji, da možemo da radimo sami šta hoćemo.
the characteristic that goes behind that
Karakteristika koja ide iza toga
is pride.
je ponos.
That's pride. So let's get ugly for a while.
Ajmo malo da budemo na ružnu stranu.
The doctor needs to give a correct diagnosis
Znači, doktor mora da da ispravnu dijagnozu
if the patient will ever accept the treatment.
ako će pacijent da prihvati način tretmana.
So this is not because I don't care about you.
Nije ovo zato što se ja ne brinem za vas,
It's because I do care about you.
to je zato što se ja brinem za vas.
Right? That we must give the diagnosis.
Zato mi moramo da damo dijagnozu.
All right. This human heart,
Ovo ljudsko srce,
the only motivations that it can come up with for what it does
jedina motivacija do koje ona može da dođe
is selfishness and pride.
je sebičnost i ponos.
That is the foundation of your love.
Ovo je temelj vaše ljubavi.
The love you have for children,
Ljubav koju imate ka deci,
the love you have for a spouse,
ljubav koju imate za supruge,
the love you have for parents,
ljubav koju imate za roditelje,
the love you have for God,
ljubav koju imate za Boga.
all selfish.
Sve sebično.
Why?
Zašto?
Because the purpose of the love is to receive.
Jer cilj ljubavi je da primite.
It's all about me.
To je sve o meni.
It's all about me.
Sve u centru, središte mene.
That is universal.
I to je univerzalno.
Everywhere I go,
Svugde gde ja idem,
every culture I'm in,
u svakoj kulturi gde sam bio,
every person I talk to,
svaka osoba s kojom sam govorio,
it's true.
istina je.
It's true. It's ugly.
To je ružno.
That's the only motivation we can come up with for what we do.
To je jedina motivacija do koje mi možemo da dođemo.
Now, who alone in all of the universe can give first without having first taken something to give?
Ko može jedino u univerzumu da da prvo, a da ne uzme od nijotkud?
God,
Bog.
right? Because God can create in the giving.
Znači, Bog može da stvori dajući.
Everyone else must take something first
Svi drugi moraju prvo da uzmu
in order to give it away.
da bi dali.
Because you cannot give what you do not have.
Jer ne možete da date ono što nemate.
So therefore,
Zato,
if I have a love that gives first,
ako imam ljubav koja prvo daje,
who am I?
ko sam ja?
I'm God.
Ja sam Bog.
That's right. You remember the snake said something about that?
Sećate da je zmija nešto rekla u vezi toga?
You will be like God?
Bićete kao bogovi.
We believe that today.
Mi verujemo u to danas.
Every one of us.
Svako od nas.
And it's in the very best we think we have.
I to je u nečemu najboljem što mi mislimo.
It's in our love.
To je u našoj ljubavi.
And God tells us in the Bible,
I Bog nam kaže u Bibliji,
He says, you shall have no other gods before me.
nemojte imati drugih bogova osim mene.
But what is the most common God we have?
Ali koji je najčešći Bog koga mi imamo?
It's me.
To sam ja.
It's me.
To sam ja.
I am number one in my life.
Ja sam broj jedan u mome životu.
What I want,
Ono što ja želim,
what I need,
ono što meni treba,
comes first.
dolazi prvo,
God and others come down the line.
a Bog i drugi kasnije u redu.
And this heart
I ovo srce
is a slave to others.
je rob drugima.
Why is it a slave to others?
Zašto je ono rob drugima?
It's because your gains and your losses are dependent upon them.
Jer vaši dobici i gubici zavise od njih.
Because if they don't give, you can't receive.
Jer ako oni ne daju, vi ne možete da dobijete.
If they give too little, it won't be enough.
Ako daju premalo, neće biti dovoljno.
Right? So your gains and your losses are dependent upon how they give or don't give.
Znači, vaši dobici i gubici zavise od toga koliko oni daju.
And you must always try to control a source you cannot trust.
I uvek morate da kontrolišete izvor kome ne verujete.
And you can't trust others.
I vi ne možete da verujete drugima.
So you must attempt to control them.
I onda morate da pokušate da ih kontrolišete.
But how do we control them?
Ali kako ih mi kontrolišemo?
Some people control from the good side.
Neki ljudi kontrolišu sa dobre strane.
Oh, they're happy and friendly.
Oni su radosni, veseli, srećni.
They'll give you hugs and so on.
Daće vam zagrlje.
They'll compliment you and
Daće vam kompliment.
right? But what are they looking for?
Ali šta oni traže?
They're looking for the same thing back.
Oni traže za istu stvar nazad.
We love those manipulators.
Mi volimo te manipulante.
Right? Because we receive
Jer mi primamo
from them.
od njih.
And receiving is our gain.
I naše primanje je naš dobit.
But you can manipulate from the other side too.
Ali ti možeš da manipulišiš sa druge strane.
You can use guilt.
Može da koristite krivnju.
You can use shame.
Sramotu.
You can use threats.
Možete da nekoga pretite mu.
You can use abuse.
Ili maltretiranje neko.
All in an attempt to keep the other as your source.
Sve u pokušaju da zadržite osobu kao vaš izvor.
Fear of losing them.
Strah od gubitka.
And so you use fear to keep them.
I onda koristite strah da ga zadržite.
We don't like those manipulators.
Mi ne volimo te manipulante.
But everyone who abuses someone else,
Svako ko se iživljava nekog drugog,
like in a family setting,
kao u porodičnom okruženju,
is a slave to the one they abuse.
su rob onome koga maltretiraju.
Because the one they abuse, they see as their source.
Jer one koje maltretiraju vide kao njihov izvor.
And they're trying to control their source.
I oni pokušavaju da kontrolišu taj izvor.
This heart
Ovo srce
can look really good on one side,
može jako lepo da izgleda s jedne strane,
that early honeymoon phase of a relationship,
taj medeni mesec na početku odnosa,
and it can look like the pit of hell on the other side.
a s druge strane može da izgleda kao paklena rupa.
And it's all the same heart.
I to je sve isto srce,
It is all the same motivations.
iste motivacije,
It is all
to je sve
hellish.
pakleno.
Welcome
Dobrodošli
to life.
u život.
Welcome to the human heart.
Dobrodošli u ljudsko srce.
This is why we see what we do in society,
To je ono što mi vidimo u društvu,
in our families,
našim porodicama
and in our relationships.
i našim odnosima.
Remember, we need love,
Zapamtite, nama je potrebna ljubav,
but this is not the kind of love we need.
ali ovo nije ljubav koja je nama potrebna.
We don't need a love like this.
Nama nije potrebna ovakva ljubav.
But if that's the kind of love we have,
Ali ako ovo ljubav koju mi imamo,
we're starving for what we need.
mi izgladnjujemo se od onoga što nam je potrebno.
And is it any wonder that we dysfunction?
I nije ni čudo što smo disfunkcionalni.
Because we don't really have what we need.
Jer nemamo ono što nam je potrebno.
Because we're going to the wrong source.
Jer idemo ka pogrešnom izvoru.
The roots of our tree are planted in the wrong soil.
Znači, koreni našeg drveta su zasađeni na pogrešnom izvoru.
We're eating out of the wrong restaurant.
Jedemo iz pogrešnog restorana.
And the result of it is chaos.
A rezultat toga je haos.
Chaos.
Haos.
Now, God has for centuries tried to convince us that we're crazy.
Znači, Gospod već vekovima pokušava da nas osvedoči da smo ludi.
He tells us in the book of Jeremiah,
Kaže nam u knjizi proroka Jeremije,
the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked.
kaže, srce je prevarno više svega i opako.
What God is trying to tell us
Ono što Bog želi da nam kaže,
is there is nothing more deceptive or deceived than the human heart.
da nema ništa što je prevarnije od ljudskog srca.
And its deception is to wickedness.
I njehova prevara je ka nečem zlom.
If you put a ball on the side of a hill,
Ako stavite loptu na jednu stranu brda,
which way will it roll?
na koju stranu će se ona otkotrljati?
Up or down?
Gore ili dole?
Down.
Dole.
How often?
Koliko često?
Every time,
Svaki put.
right? That's the nature of gravity.
To je priroda gravitacije.
The human heart
Ljudsko srce
gravitates to wickedness.
Gravitira ka nečemu što je zlo i loše.
It will always go there,
Uvek će ići tamo,
but the craziness of it
ali ludilo svega toga,
is that while we are going for wickedness,
jer kad idemo ka tome što je loše,
we think we're going away from it.
mi mislimo da mi odlazimo od toga.
Now, God has created us to gain,
Znači, Gospod nas je stvorio da budemo u dobitku,
to learn,
da naučimo,
to explore,
da istražujemo.
right? Heaven is not about sitting on a cloud with a harp and strumming the same song over for billions of years.
Znači, nebo nije da vi sedite na oblaku i da svirate harfu milionima godina.
Right? We will be exploring.
Mi ćemo da istražujemo,
We will be learning.
mi ćemo učiti
We will be growing.
i rašćemo.
Right? We will be all sorts of stuff.
Mi ćemo razne stvari.
And God created us for that.
I Gospod nas je stvorio za to.
And because of that, we see people trying to climb to the tops of mountains.
I zbog toga vidimo ljude kako se penju na vrhove planina.
We have that drive to overcome.
Imamo tu želju da prebrodimo nešto.
But what happens if you get to the top of the mountain,
Ali šta se dešava kad dođete na vrh planine,
but you're upside down?
ali ste naopačke?
Where do you end up?
Gde ćete završiti?
The very bottom.
Na dnu.
You end up at the very bottom, thinking you're climbing to the very top.
Završite na dnu misleći da se penjete na vrh.
That's the craziness.
To je ono ludilo.
That's the craziness. Now, how are we ever going to wake up?
Kako ćemo se mi ikada probuditi?
How can God let us know we're crazy?
Kako može Bog da nam kaže, da nam dozna da smo ludi?
Well, first of all,
Prva stvar,
the craziness is so bad
ludilo je toliko loše,
that God cannot tell us that we're crazy and we'll believe him.
Bog ne može da nam kaže da smo ludi, da mu mi verujemo.
We see examples of that throughout history.
Mi vidimo primere kroz istoriju,
Great examples in the Bible.
velike primere u Bibliji.
Jesus had these disciples.
Isus je imao njegove učenike,
He kept trying to tell them,
pokušavao da im kaže,
you have little faith.
imate malo vere.
They never believed him.
Nikad mu nisu verovali.
They got to the end of his life,
I došli su na kraj njegovog života
and he told them,
i on im je rekao,
you all are going to desert me.
svi ćete se razbežati, napustiti me.
None of them believed him.
Nikomu nije verovao.
Peter spoke up and said, even if all of them do, I won't.
Petar je ustao i rekao, i svi ako te napuste, ja neću.
Jesus said, Peter,
A Isus je rekao, ne, Petre,
you,
ti,
tonight,
večeras,
before the cock crows twice,
pre nego što petao zapeva 2 puta,
you'll deny me 3 times.
odreći ćeš me 3 puta.
Peter didn't believe him,
Petar mu nije verovao.
right? He told them what was going to happen.
On im je rekao šta će se desiti,
They wouldn't believe him.
a oni mu nisu verovali.
You know why?
Znate zašto?
They were crazy.
Oni su bili ludi.
They were crazy. God knows what's in our hearts.
Bog zna šta je u našem srcu.
And it says in the next verse, that right after the one where we talk about the heart being crazy.
I ovo u sljedećem stihu koji govori da je naše srce prevarno.
God goes right on to say, I know the heart.
Kaže, ja znam srce.
I test the mind
Ja ispitujem
to give to every man according to his ways.
da dam svakom čovjeku po njegovim putevima.
So God tests us.
Znači, Bog nas testira.
Now, King David,
Znači, kralj David,
he wrote this psalm.
on je pisao ovaj psalam.
And it says, search me, O God, and know my heart.
Kaže, okušaj me Bože i poznaj moje srce.
Try me and know my anxieties.
Kaže, ispitaj me i poznaj pomisli moje.
And see if there's any wicked way in me.
I vidi jesam li na zlu putu.
And lead me in the way everlasting.
I vodi me na put večni.
So, you know how God helps us to see the craziness?
Da li znate kako Bog pokušao da nam pokaže da vidimo to ludilo?
It's in the test and the trial.
U testovima i u iskušenjima.
Because in the test and the trial,
U tim raznim situacijama, testovima i iskušenjima,
what's in the heart
ono što je u srcu
comes out.
izađe.
And then you can see it.
I onda možete da vidite.
You see, God uses demonstration
Znači, Gospod koristi jednu demonstraciju, praktične stvari,
to try to wake us up from the craziness.
da nas probudi iz tog ludila.
King David,
Kralj David,
if God would have responded to David right then,
i da je Bog odgovorio Davidu upravo u ovom trenutku,
and he would have said, David,
i rekao mu, Davide,
you're a murderer,
ti si ubica,
you're an adulterer,
ti si preljubnik,
right? You will slander my name across the whole planet.
ukaljio si moje ime celoj planeti.
David would have come back to God and said, no, not me.
David bi se vratio i kaže, ne ja.
Am I not a man after your own heart?
Zar ja nisam čovjek po tvome srcu?
Do I not delight in your law?
Zar ja ne uživam u tvome zakonu?
Is it not my meditation day and night?
Zar nije moja meditacija dan i noć?
Do I not hate your enemies?
Zar ja ne mrzim tvoje neprijatelje?
David wouldn't have believed God.
David ne bi verovao Bogu.
But one day,
Ali jednoga dana,
David was at his palace
on je bio u svojoj palati
and he saw Bathsheba taking a bath.
i vidio je Baršebu kako se kupa.
She didn't have her Sheba on. And anyways,
U svakom slučaju,
yeah, David said, well,
David je rekao za tu ženu,
he should have said,
trebao je da se okrene.
and no, he said, well, and so he asked somebody, what's her name?
I nekoga je pitao, kako je njeno ime?
And he invited her over.
I on je pozvao
And a few drinks later,
i posle par pića,
and
znate,
he got a note a couple of months later.
dobio je pismo par meseci kasnije.
I missed my period.
Nisam dobila ciklus
And there's a little bump growing.
i postoji neka loptica koja raste.
And David went,
I David je bio onako,
not good.
nije dobro.
So he tried to get the husband to come home and sleep with his wife.
I on je pokušao da vidi da muž spava sa ženom.
Didn't work.
Nije radilo.
So he sent the husband back to the fighting field to die.
I on je slao njenog muža u bitku da on pogine.
With orders to the commander of the army
Od naredba od komandanta armije
to leave him alone with the enemy so that he might die.
Da ga ostavi samog kod neprijatelja da umre.
And then as soon as he possibly could, he married her.
I što je to brže bilo moguće, on ju je oženio.
But you know that baby?
Ali znate, ta beba,
It came a few months too early.
Prerano se rodila par meseci.
And it was pretty good sized when it came.
I bila je dosta velike veličine kad se rodila.
So people started getting an idea.
I ljudi su počeli da dobiju neke ideje.
Maybe there was some foul play here.
Možda tu ima nekih prljavih igara.
And a prophet of God came to David.
I Božji prorok je došao do Davida.
And he told him a story about a rich man with a lot of sheep.
I rekao mu je priču o bogatom čovjeku koji ima puno ovaca.
And a poor man with one sheep.
I siromašnom čovjeku koji ima jednu ovcu.
And a stranger goes to the rich man.
jedan stranac je došao kod bogataša
And in order to feed that stranger,
i da nahrani tog bogataša,
the rich man takes the poor man's one sheep and kills it for the stranger.
znači ovaj bogataš uzima jednu ovcu od ovog siromašnog i daje ovom strancu.
David is angry.
I David je bio jako ljut.
How can there be someone that selfish in my kingdom?
Kako može da bude neko tako sebičan u mome kraljevstvu?
That man must die
Taj čovjek mora da umre
and pay back 4 times what he took.
i da plati 4 puta više od onoga što je uzeo.
And that prophet said,
I taj prorok je rekao,
you're the man.
ti si taj čovjek,
It's you.
to si ti.
David's eyes were open.
Davidove oči su se otvorile.
In that moment, he was able to see what was in his heart.
U tom trenutku on je video šta je u svome srcu, njegovom srcu.
That which he never would have believed about himself.
To je ono što on ne bi nikada verao sam za sebe.
If God told him,
Da mu je lično Bog rekao.
he now knows is true
On sada zna da je ovo istinito,
because it came out.
jer je izašlo.
Now God loves each of us,
Bog svakog od nas voli
and he doesn't want us to stay crazy.
i on ne želi da mi ostanemo ludi.
And so God will allow in his love
I Bog će dozvoliti u svojoj ljubavi,
test and trial to come
znači neki testovi i iskušenja da dođu na nas,
so that what's inside will spill out,
da ono što je unutra biti ispoljeno, da izađe,
so that we can see it.
tako da možemo da vidimo.
It's his only way to wake us up.
To je jedini način kako može da nas probudi.
Well, David prayed a prayer after that event.
Posle tog slučaja David se molio molitvu.
He said, create in me a clean heart, O God,
Kaže, učini mi Bože čisto srce
and renew a steadfast spirit within me.
i duh pravi popravi u meni.
And God answers that prayer,
I Bog odgovara na tu molitvu,
not just for David, but for you and me,
ne samo za Davida, već i za mene i tebe.
when he says, I will give you a new heart
Kaže, ja ću ti dati novo srce
and put a new spirit within you.
i novi duh ću dati tebi.
I'll take the heart of stone out of your flesh,
I uzet ću kameno srce tvoje
and I'll give you a heart of flesh.
i daću ti mesnato srce.
It's a beautiful promise.
To je prelepo obećanje.
But we don't have a clue what he's talking about,
Ali mi još nemamo ideju o čemu govori.
because we haven't lived with that new heart.
Jer mi nismo živjeli s tim novim srcem.
We haven't seen that new heart.
Mi nismo vidjeli to novo srce.
We don't really know how good it can be with that new heart.
Mi još ne znamo koliko dobro to može da bude s novim srcem.
But that's where we're going next,
Ali to je gde idemo sljedeći put.
to see that new heart
Da vidimo to novo srce.
and how it operates
I kako ono funkcioniše.
and how beautiful it can be
Kako prelepo to može da bude.
and how it can set us free from the hell that our lives have been
I kako može da nas oslobodi od pakla u kome se nalazimo.
and wake up to a new reality.
I da nas probudi u novu realnost.
And that will be where we go tomorrow.
O tome ćemo ići govoriti sutra.
And it gets deeper than that too,
I idemo još dublje od toga kasnije.
because we all carry baggage along with us.
Jer svi mi nosimo neki teret,
Emotional baggage,
emocionalni teret.
right? Stuff that's happened to us in the past,
Stvari koje su desile nam u prošlosti
and we've never been able to get rid of it.
i nikako nismo mogli da se otarasimo od toga.
But you know what? God has a plan for how to get rid of the baggage too.
Ali Bog ima plan kako da se otarasimo tog prtljaga.
And we're going to talk about that later this week as well.
I kasnije tokom nedelje ćemo govoriti o tome.
And if you think there are others that might actually be benefited by that knowledge,
I ako misli da postoje drugi koji bi imali korist od tog znanja,
encourage them to come out too.
pozovite ih, ohrabrite ih da dođu.
Because I guarantee you they need it as well.
Ja garantujem da je njima to potrebno.
But you might have to convince them a little bit,
Ali možda će biti potrebno da ih osvedočite,
because they're crazy
jer su ludi,
and they don't know.
a oni to ne znaju.
What's that? Oh yes, questions. Yeah, I forgot. So there was one question. about somebody that's struggling with depression.
Ima neko pitanje ko se bori sa depresijom.
And the problem is they can't get to sleep.
I problem da oni ne mogu da spavaju.
And they're taking sleeping pills.
I koriste tablete za spavanje.
And they can't get away from the sleeping pills.
I ne mogu da se tarase tablete za spavanje.
Right? And they want to know how to get out of this vicious cycle.
I hoće da pokušaju da izađu iz ovog ciklusa.
Right? So how do you get out of this vicious cycle of being on sleeping pills and getting off of them and being able to sleep?
Kako da izađete iz tog ciklusa da se skinete s tih lekova za spavanje i da spavate?
It's an excellent question.
To je odlično pitanje.
And it's something that we have to deal with in our lifestyle center.
To je s nečim što mi imamo, se susrećemo u našem zdravstvenom centru.
First of all,
prva stvar,
just to scare you,
da vas malo uplašim,
the research shows
istraživanja pokazuju
that if you take as little as 18 sleeping pills in a year,
da ako uzmete samo 18 tableta za spavanje u toku godine,
it triples your risk of dying from all causes.
Utrostruči mogućnost umiranja od raznih bolesti.
About 40 doses in a year quadruples your risk.
40 doza učetvorostruči vaš rizik.
And anything above about 142 doses a year,
i sve što je preko 142 doze godišnje,
increases your risk by 500%.
Povećava rizik 500 puta.
Right? It's huge.
To je ogromno.
So it's good to be off of sleeping pills.
I dobro je da ne koristite tablete za spavanje.
So how do you do it?
Kako to da učinite?
First of all,
prva stvar,
exercise.
Budite fizički aktivni.
Right? Get out there and exercise every day.
Izađite napolje, budite fizički aktivni svaki dan.
But don't do it late in the evening.
Ali nemojte u kasnim večernjim satima.
Earlier in the day.
Ranije u toku dana.
Right? Not within about 3 hours of bedtime.
Ne 3 sata pre spavanja.
The more you exercise,
što ste više fizički aktivni,
the better you will be able to sleep.
Bolje ćete spavati.
Also, make sure you get outside in the early mornings.
I isto ono što je dobro je da izađete svako jutro napolje.
And get about 20 to 30 minutes of that early morning sunrise light.
I da dobijete to rano jutarnje sunčevu svetlost.
Because that light will convert tryptophan to serotonin in the back of your eyes.
Jer to svetlo će da pretvori triptofen u serotonin u vašem oku.
And at night time when it's dark,
i u toku noći kad je mračno,
serotonin gets converted to melatonin.
Serotonin se pretvara u melatonin.
And melatonin is your sleep hormone.
A melatonin je vaš hormon za spavanje.
So the more natural light that you get outside,
i što više imate prirodnog svetla napolje,
especially earlier in the day,
što je ranije moguće u toku dana,
it will help you with your night times.
Pomoći će u vašim večernjim satima.
Also,
isto,
make sure you do not eat late in the day.
Nemojte da jedete kasno.
If you're trying to get to sleep,
ako pokušavate da spavate,
it's usually better for you to cut out that last meal.
Bolje da isključite taj zadnji obrok.
So that the stomach is empty when you go to bed.
Tako da je stomak prazan kad idete u krevet.
Research is very clear, you sleep better when your stomach is empty.
Istraživanja su jasna da vi bolje spavate kad je stomak prazan.
Also,
isto,
one of the things that we have found to be very beneficial,
ono što smo mi našli da je jako korisno,
is when you go to sleep,
kada idete da spavate,
turn your alarm clock around,
okrenite vaš budilnik naopako,
set the alarm,
uključite alarm,
don't look at the time the rest of the night.
Ne gledajte u vreme ostatak noći.
It does not help you to know how long you're up.
To vam ne pomaže da znate koliko ste budni.
What's important is not how many hours of sleep you got.
To me govori, nije dovoljno da znate koliko ste sna dobili.
What's important is how rested you are in the morning.
Važno je koliko ste odmorni ujutro.
So, turn that clock around.
Tako da okrenite taj alarm.
Have a dark and cool room.
Imajte izvetrenu mračnu sobu.
Lay down.
Legnite.
And try to resist moving.
I probajte da imate neku odbojnost da se stalno okrećete.
And then the thing that we have found the most helpful
Ono što je najviše može pomogne
at nighttime,
u toku noći,
pray for others.
molite se za druge.
So you pray for your friends,
Vi se molite za vaše
you pray
prijatelje,
for your family,
za vaše
you
porodice,
pray for whoever,
za bilo koga.
not your own stuff.
Ne vaše stvari,
That's daytime prayer.
to je u toku dana.
But you're praying for others.
Vi se molite za druge.
If your mind begins to wander,
Ako vaš odluta,
bring it back
vratite nazad
and pick up on your list where you left off.
i pokupite sa liste gde ste stali.
And train yourself to pray when you go to sleep. When you go to bed.
I trenite sebe da se molite kad idete spavati.
And if you fall asleep while you're praying,
I ako zaspite dok se molite,
good.
dobro je.
Right? And if you don't,
I ako ne,
well, that's okay. You're being useful.
ako ne, onda ste bar korisni.
Right? You're being useful anyways.
Vi ste korisni u svakom slučaju.
We find those to be very helpful for those that are looking at getting off of sleeping medication.
Mi smo vidjeli da to pomaže ljudima koji pokušavaju da se skinu sa lekova za spavanje
And getting better sleep at night.
i imaju bolji san noću.
And another question essentially was, what is the source of love?
I drugo pitanje je bilo koji je izvor ljubavi.
Right? And we covered that tonight. Right? It comes from God.
To dolazi od Boga.
And there was a question about acupuncture.
Bilo je pitanje o akupunkturi.
Right? And thoughts on acupuncture.
I šta ja mislim o tome?
There are two things about acupuncture.
Postoje dve stvari oko akupunkture.
First of all, research shows
Prva stvar je da istraživanje pokazuje
that with acupuncture,
sa akupunkturom
there can be some changes in opioid receptors in the body.
Postoje neke promene u opioreceptorima u telu.
So there may be some benefit as far as pain is concerned.
Možda postoji neka beneficija što se tiče bola.
Although some of the very large studies looking at many different acupuncture studies,
Ali neka druga istraživanja koje gledaju na razna istraživanja o akupunkturi
don't actually reveal much of an effect.
Ne otkrivaju da ima puno nekih pozitivnih stvari.
Now, the theory upon which acupuncture is practiced
Znači, teorija na kojoj akupunktura funkcioniše i radi,
is that there is a cosmic energy,
da postoji kosmička energija,
and that cosmic energy flows through the body through certain lines.
da ta kosmička energija putuje kroz telo u određenim linijama.
And those lines are called meridians.
A te linije se zovu meridijani.
Right? And acupuncture is seeking to manipulate that flow of energy through the body.
A akupunktura želi da izmanipuliše taj tok energije kroz telo,
So it can improve the function of different organs or systems.
tako da može da poboljša funkciju organa i sistema.
Now, there have been attempts to investigate this universal energy.
Postoje su neki pokušaji da ljudi investiraju u ovu energiju,
But there has never been any evidence of it.
ali nemamo nikakva svedočanstva o tome.
Right? And so from that standpoint, it seems to be a false method.
I sa ove tačke gledišta to izgleda pogrešan metod.
I don't use it.
Ja je ne koristim,
I don't recommend it.
ja je ne preporučujem.
And I have found other ways that appear to be more effective.
Ja sam našao druge načine koje mi pomažu bolje i više.
So if you've got more questions from that standpoint,
I ako imate sa ove tačke gledišta još
we can
pitanja,
talk afterward.
možemo da razgovaramo.
But right now I need to stop because you need to go home.
Ali ja sam moram da stanem, moram da idete kući.
But I will be here.
Ali ja ću biti ovde.
So if you have individual questions,
I ako imate neke individualne pitanja,
and again, if you have more questions for the group,
i ako imate još pitanja vezi grupe,
write it down and put it in the back.
zapišite i stavite pozadnje.
Pre nego što odemo sa ovog mesta svojim domovima, ja vas podsjećam da možete preuzeti besplatan primjerak časopisa